Hi, everyone. I just wanted to quickly give you a review tutorial on how to annotate because you're going to be annotating chapter 2. Since we can't annotate in our books, this is an opportunity to practice those skills. And then you can take the information that you've annotated and put it into your online journal for the Pearl. So let's get started. So one thing that we haven't talked about is annotating for figurative language. So that is definitely one thing that is an option for as far as annotation is concerned. So the first thing that we're going to do is annotate for characterization. And so, we would use, again, IC and DC. Remember, indirect is when you have to infer something. So a character does something, says something, the narrator writes something, or says something about the character indirectly. And we infer like, oh, that makes the character nice, or that makes the character kind. Then we would IC. If the narrator or another character, directly says something. For example, in chapter 1, when the narrator is describing the doctor and the beggars call him lazy, that is direct characterization. But when the doctor said, I'm not a veterinary, we can infer that the doctor is racist or a bigot. So, that's the difference kind of, again, between indirect and direct characterization. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of walk through again with characterization. I'm just going to read through the different, paragraphs and figure out, where there's some characterization and give you an example. So, just because I know this already, the first couple paragraphs this is all descriptive. So I'm actually going to go to, kind of go through the next couple things. This is all about his people. Here we go. So we have Kino and Wana. So Kino and Wana came slowly down to the beach into Kino's canoe, which was one thing of value he owned in the world. It was very old. Kino's grandfather had brought it from Nayarit, and he had given it to Kino's father, and so it had come to Kino. It was once property and source of food, for a man with a boat can guarantee a woman that she will eat something. It is the bulwark against starvation. And every year, Kino refinished his canoe with the hard shell-like plaster by the secret method that had come to him from his father. Now he came to the canoe, touched the bow tenderly as he always did. So I'm actually going to highlight this, okay? Because to me, by touching the bow of the boat tenderly, to me, what that shows about his personality. So I'm just going to do indirectly, cares about his boat. Maybe not characterization so much, but it is something about him. So I'm going to do indirect, cares about his boat. So that's just an example. I'm going to go back to the top, and I'm going to look for theme. I'm actually going to go back. Well, actually, no, I'm not going to go back to that section, but I will tell you that section I was just in will help with this one particular theme. So as I'm reading, I'm going to be looking for, good versus evil, or race, oppression and tradition, wealth and value, community, nature is a powerful force. So the thing about race and oppression, we've already talked about racism. Oppression is when one race feels that they are superior to another, and what they do is what's called they oppress the race that they feel they are superior to. And they do things like put in laws, do things unfairly, change things so that they stay oppressed, meaning like they never have opportunities to get up to where the other race is, if that makes sense. So in this case, the Spaniards oppressed Kino's people. And this started, all the way at the beginning of colonization of Mexico. So, think about some of the ways that perhaps Kino's people, as we read through the story, have been oppressed by the doctor's people, the Spaniards, not having the same opportunities as the Spaniards have in Mexico. Okay. And also a part of this is tradition. Tradition, and we already see it in chapter 1 with, Juana saying the ancient magic that was kind of a part of their culture and their before the Spaniards had come. So one of the things as you're reading through chapter 2 to think about is what are some of the traditions that Kino and his people follow. So as I go through chapter 2, this first paragraph, I'm actually going to be looking for this particular one because this chapter is kind of full of this race, oppression, and tradition idea. So if I'm reading through just this first paragraph, in the town lay on a broad estuary, its old yellow plastered buildings hugging the beach, and on the beach the white and blue canoes that came from Nayarit were drawn up, canoes preserved for generations by a hard, shell-like waterproof plaster whose making was a secret of the fishing people. So I'm actually going to highlight this last part, canoes preserved for generations. So I mean, that's tradition, right? They've preserved these canoes for generations with a secret that's passed down from generation to generation. So I'm actually just gonna put tradition here because that's kind of a part of it for, I'll say, Kino's people, all right? Because he's a part of the fishing people, right? All right. Oh, and I did not do. I'm going to fix that. Remember, at the top, we want to identify, classify, and explain. So I'm going to put theme, tradition, okay? Because we want to make sure we have multiple themes, not just one. So we want to make sure that, in the label, and actually I'm going to put theme and then just do this again, no, I'm going to just do this tradition for Kino's people. I think that's fine. I think if you read that, you can say like, oh, it's tradition. All right. So just a hint, keep looking for different examples of tradition through here. Nature is a powerful force is another one. So just kind of look for that kind of stuff throughout this chapter. All right. Now, as far as figurative language, remember figurative language are things like similes, metaphors, personification, imagery, right? Imagery is something that is very descriptive language that appeals to the senses. It can be multiple senses. It can be a few senses. It can be one. So this chapter, especially these first 2 paragraphs, have a lot of imagery and figurative language. And so kind of go through and pick out some of that figurative language. This will obviously then help with, the figurative language aspect of your notes for chapter 2 in your reader's journal. So I'm going to just take a shot here. Okay. The town lay on a broad estuary, its old yellow plastered buildings hugging the beach. Right here, very descriptive, okay? So remember, we need to identify, classify, and explain.
Motion detected at the side door.
And there goes my Alexa. Just ignore Alexa for now. So I'm going to label with figurative language. And you know what? Actually, if you want to just, make it short, just put FL for figurative language. That's totally fine. Figurative language, I'm going to classify. So this is imagery, okay? And explain, in your description, you can say like appeals to sight, perhaps, the old yellow plastered buildings, hugging the beach. So you get like a sense of that, or even just delete that and just put sight, okay? So again, you have, probably part of reading class and writing class to do this. So you'll have plenty of time to get a lot of this done. It's not homework, but you want to make sure that you have a lot, with that time that you have, at least 30 minutes, 35 minutes, get as much as you can get done. You can focus just on characterization, then do the theme, do figurative language, or kind of like I did, go section by section and see what you find. You can go through this first paragraph and look for characterization. Nope, no characterization. Look for theme. All right, here's some theme. Then look for figurative language. I think honestly that's the best way. Go paragraph by paragraph looking for those different things. Okay. So good luck. We'll go over some of these. You'll be able to, on Tuesday, you'll be able to use these for your notes that we'll do on Tuesday and Wednesday. So you'll have Tuesday and Wednesday's class to work on your reader's journal. All right. I will see you Tuesday. Good luck. Have fun. And I will see you soon. Bye, everyone.